the San Jose Sharks dropped their 7th straight game, this time to the Calgary Flames. And that has you asking, where has all the offense gone?
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at The Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL's Tuesday's episode with Seth. Do want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be discussing the Sharks' 3-1 loss on Saturday night to the Calgary Flames. Try to figure out where has the offense gone for the San Jose Sharks. They continue to struggle goals. We'll dig into the numbers behind this game, talk about Askarov and his performance, and check in on the tank and see where the Sharks are at, plus how some of the top prospects in the 2025 draft are performing at World Juniors. So let's start with, of course, the Sharks loss on Saturday night. I was there at the game, sat like 10 rows in the corner. Great seats. Thank you to my father-in-law for the wonderful Christmas gift to go see Macklin Celebrini. And first of all, if you have not gotten a chance to go see Macklin Celebrini in person, absolutely electric. But second of all, where has all the offense gone for the Sharks? And this team right now has really struggled to put the puck in the back of the net, right? They scored 1 goal on Saturday night. Most of the games recently have been very much low scoring affairs for the San Jose Sharks. They have just struggled to get to score goals. And part of it is the much stronger competition that we've seen them playing. They've played a lot better teams recently. You look at they had teams like the Vegas, and they play like Florida and Tampa, and they played a bunch of these teams here that are just there's just been a much tougher schedule for the Sharks. But the offense has just dried up recently. They scored 1 against the Flames. They had 3 against Vegas, 3 against the Canucks, 2, 3. It's been a lot of these 1, 2, or 3 type of score. We haven't really seen an offensive explosion since end of November, when they put up a bajillion goals against the Kraken and the Kings. So I was curious, how bad is it been that bad? Was it maybe just me, or has it been that bad? So I looked at November, where the Sharks were a much better team, right? Especially after Macklin Celebrini got here, returned from his injury. And the Sharks were a much better offensive team during that time. So in 15 games in November, which is a healthy, right? 30 days, they played 15 games in that time. They were averaging 3.2 goals per game. And yes, some of that is definitely weighted by 15 that you put up in against Vegas, or against against the Kings and against the Kraken. But the offense just was, a much better kind of performing unit during that time. And now in December, it has been a much different story. And again, I know we have one more game. Maybe they'll score a bajillion goals, but it's still going to be a much tougher situation. They've scored 2.25 goals per game in 12 games. That is 31st. The only team worse right now is the New York Rangers. Wow. So you've seen basically a drop off of a goal per game in the past month. What is the root of this? And I think what it comes down to is look at the scoring production from some of your big players, right? In November, Mikael Granlund, 15 points in 13 games played. 5 goals, 10 assists. December for Mikael Granlund. 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points in 12 games. As a huge drop off for Mikael Granlund. William Eklund was second on in the team last month. 14 points in 15 games, 2 goals, 12 assists. I know Eklund's missed a couple games here recently. It sounds like maybe the end of the week for him. But Eklund this in December, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points in 10 games. Big drop off there. You look at some, Jake Wallman not being available. Wallman's had a great month in December. Wallman had 10 points in 10 games in November. December, 6 points in 9 games, and he hasn't been out there because of injuries. Like Alex Wennberg, 8 points in 15 games. Wennberg, 4 points in 12 games so far. And I know he had a sweet assist. So you're not getting scoring from some of your top veteran players. I know Eklund's not really a veteran, but I'm including him in this here. And then you're still getting like Will Smith, big drop off in scoring too. And I know he missed some games. He had 2 points so far, 2 points in 9 games. Last month he had 9 points in 13 games in November. Basically it's Macklin Celebrini, who had 12 points in November and has turned around and has 13 points in December. Like Macklin Celebrini's been continuing to produce. Fabian Zetterlund's continuing to kind of produce at the same rate. Tyler Toffoli is kind of producing at the same rate. Those 3 guys have been kind of producing at the same rate, but you've been getting a huge drop off some of your other guys. So your Granlunds, your Eklunds, without having Jake Wallman back there, and there's not really a guy on the blue line who can kind of step up and take Wallman's role. Like you're seeing a big drop off in production from some of these players. And yes, I know the teams that they've played been a brutal schedule for the Sharks, right? Capitals, Lightning, Panthers, Hurricanes, Blues, Utah, Winnipeg, Colorado, Edmonton, Vancouver, Vegas, and then the Flames. Like the Flames are maybe the worst team that you played out of those. Like maybe the Blues, maybe Utah. Like it has been a brutal schedule for San Jose in December. And reality hit hard in December for the Sharks, but you can't win games when you're scoring 1 or 2 goals a game, and that's been a huge reason. And when you're not getting production from your big guys like Granlund, you're not getting production from Eklund. And again, I know Eklund's dealing with an injury right now. You're not getting production from some of these guys. That's a big reason of why the offense, I think, has really dried up for San Jose. And hopefully in January here, the Sharks can find a little bit more offense and a little bit more sustained offense. And the schedule, I think, does kind of ease up a little bit here. Like tough start to January, but definitely kind of eases up at kind of the middle of January when you're facing like Detroit and Columbus and the Islanders and the Bruins have been really up and down. You got Nashville a couple times. Like the schedule does kind of equal out a little bit here. So hopefully they can find some offense, but they need to get these big guys going. Granlund specifically, I think Granlund's decline in production, I think, is a huge reason why the Sharks offense is really dried up. And I think especially when Eklund gets back, they need to find a way to get Granlund going here. And hopefully we see Granlund get back to kind of the, maybe not a point per game player that he was at the beginning of the season, but hopefully we start to see Granlund getting going here. And I think that'll be a big boost to the Sharks offense. So before we continue, we dig into the actual game, we talk about the numbers behind this game, all that fun stuff. I just need to take a quick break. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or paying for twice? Definitely happened to me. My wife downloaded it, realized we had a bunch of subscriptions that we weren't even using anymore. We're able to track them down and get them taken care of with Rocket Money. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's your subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved over 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year while using all of the app's premium features. So, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. All right. Let's actually talk about the game, which I think the kind of my biggest other takeaway was just how much the Sharks struggled to get the puck out of their own zone. It just constantly, and you saw it, and especially now with Jake Wallman being out with his lower body injury, like it has been a struggle for the Sharks to really kind of get the puck moving in the other way. And the Flames did a great job of really kind of taking it to the Sharks, especially at the end of the first period, kind of halfway through the first period. They got on a power play, and then that was basically it was all Flames until end of the second, beginning of the third, where the Sharks finally were able to kind of crawl back into it. But shot attempts in this game, they feel closer than they're closer than they actually feel. Like it felt very much like Calgary was dominating, especially the first period they were. So we had about almost 49 minutes of 5-on-5 time, 59 to 43 shot attempts in favor of the Flames. Corsi 4, basically 58% to 42%. Actual shots on goal, 26 to 16 in favor of the Flames, 24 to 20 scoring chances. So the Sharks were very much like quality over quantity. 12 to 7 high danger chances, 2.8 to 1.44 expected goals for. All that, of course, in favor of the Flames. But that first period, the Flames had 34 shot attempts in 18 minutes. That is ridiculous amount of shot attempts, with actual like shots on goal at 5-on-5 were 14 to 7. Shot 34 to 16 shot attempts. Like it was very much the Flames controlling pace and controlling the puck and doing whatever they wanted. Much closer in the like kind of middle second and third period, where again the Sharks kind of crawled back into it to make it more respectable. But the Flames like the Sharks just were not ready to play, and especially second night of a back-to-back, kind of an emotional game against Vegas. Right, you could tell the Sharks were really amped up for that game. It felt like it took them a little bit to kind of get going in this game, and they could not find their legs right away. So for the lines, Zetterlund, Celebrini, Will Smith continue to play very well together, and they played 13 minutes, 11 to 14 shot attempts, 5 to 7 actual shots, 0.33 to 0.47 expected goals for, 6 to 5 scoring chances, 1 to 2 high danger chances. That line, I am not touching that line right now. It's working well. Those like the Sharks offense, they couldn't do anything unless those three guys were on the ice. That was just kind of the big story of the game, was just the Sharks could not generate offense unless those three players were on the ice. And especially it's the other lines, brutal in comparison, especially when create like expected goals for. Klim Kostin, Mikael, Granlund, Tower Toffoli played 652, 7 to 10 shot attempts, 4 to 4 actual shots, 0.1 to 0.33 expected goals for. Yikes. Cunnin, Wennberg, Goodrow played 549, 3 to 9 shot attempts, 0 to 5 actual shots, 0 to 0.99 expected goals for. That line did not have a good night. And then all the other lines are a little bit wonky because Carl Grundstrom did leave the game with a hit. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. He probably has a concussion, just from my guess from being at the game. He was laid out, looked like he did not know where he was at in this game, and straight to the locker room. Didn't see him again. I think Grundstrom's going to be out for probably about a week to 10 days with a concussion. If I had to put a timeline on it and an educated guess, that's my guess with Carl Grundstrom. So hopefully he gets better here soon. So, as for, I think the other kind of big story coming out of this game was Askarov, who I thought played really well. He had 30 saves on 32 shots on goal in all situations. 2 goals against, expected goals against was 4.11, 938 save percentage, 9 high danger saves on 10 high danger shots, 9 of 10 on mid danger, and 12 of 12 on low danger. I thought he was fantastic. I was, especially that first period, I was right there. The Sharks spent the entire time in the defensive zone. I was right there watching. He just, again, some of the saves that he makes, and he's going to give you gray hair whenever he plays the puck, but yeah, he's fantastic. He's so much fun. He's so good to watch, and just the way he is, like, even when things are going like haywire, he still looks really calm about him. And when he's handling the puck, and even when he's making his saves, like the first goal was like, I think Cody Ceci maybe lost a little bit of positioning. Also, Huberdeau is like really good as well. Just kind of Huberdeau got his stick down the very last second, was able to kind of bank that, kind of pop that one in. And on the power play goal there, like maybe like Askarov needs to not give up as many rebounds there, but still he was very much like kind of under attack there. Maybe you like him to kind of not give up a rebound, but like he also made some saves that really kept the Sharks in this game, and kept it from being like a 4-1, 5-1 type of performance. Like he was absolutely outstanding in this game, and still gonna have, like, the Sharks, I think, are still gonna have a big decision when Vitek Vanacek gets healthy of what do we do. And I lean that they send Askarov back to the Barracuda. I've stated my cases for why before and such. But Askarov's going to make it he's going to make it really difficult, I think, for the Sharks to send him back down, because, I mean, is Askarov the Sharks' best goalie right now? It's hard not to say no, or it's hard, it's hard not to say, like, yeah, I think Askarov is the Sharks' best goalie right now. So, but overall, just from the Sharks, just a poor offensive performance, and a lot of it started in their own end and issues of just unable to get the puck going. I will say I did think Mukhamadullin had a really strong game. You can see the confidence growing with him with each and every game, and I think, like, even you saw the goal, was it last game? Just every game, he's just getting more and more comfortable in his own skin, and kind of with his play. And I think he's going to start earning a bigger and bigger role with the Sharks, as he should. So it's good to see, especially kind of with the start of the season they had with being injured and kind of some of that stuff. But good to see him playing some of his best hockey, I think. So we'll get into we'll talk tank, because we haven't really talked tank too much here on Locked On Sharks this season. So we'll get into that here in just 1 second. All right, before we dive into the tank, do of course want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out one of the other great shows here. Of course, you have Locked On Fantasy Hockey. If you need some help with your fantasy hockey team, who to start, who to sit, who to drop, who to pick up on waivers, all that fun stuff, they got you guys all covered there. Plus, check out one of the other shows here in the Bay Area. Locked On A's, Locked On Giants, Locked On Warriors, Locked On Niners. Things aren't going great here in the Bay right now when it comes to sports, but yeah, go check out one of those shows. They all do great stuff. You can check out any of those shows or keep listening to this show wherever you get podcasts, and of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. So the tank standings. As I'm recording this, the Sharks currently hold the first number one spot. I do believe, though, Chicago, as they are currently losing 3-1 to Dallas as I'm recording this at the end of the second, assuming Dallas holds on there, Chicago will probably leapfrog back into the first spot. Right, if you're looking at by points percentage, especially because the Sharks have played 2 more games than Chicago, but even with Chicago finishing up here. So the tank. There's, again, we'll dig into more of the draft stuff here, but the Sharks are very much set up to be picking top 3 heading into like the draft, especially with, if you look at kind of where all the bottom chunk of teams are right now, right? You have Chicago at 26, assuming that they continue to lose this game against Dallas. You have San Jose with 28, Nashville with 29, and then Buffalo with 32. So there's a little bit of a gap right there. And I know Buffalo just went through a 13-game losing streak to really kind of bring themselves back into it. You also have Detroit and Anaheim, both at 32 games, 32 points right as I'm recording right now. And I don't think any of those guys are playing at the moment. So what does this kind of mean for the Sharks? I think it's going to come down to a 3-team race between Nashville, Chicago, and San Jose of who's going to get the number 1 pick. And again, this is a 4-player draft. You want to get one of the top 4 picks because I think that there's a clear line between 4 and 5, and Victor Eklund is kind of sitting at number 5 right now, and I would love to have the Ekli. But being realistic, like where this team is going to, the Sharks are probably going to finish. They're probably going to finish 1, 2, or 3, depending on how things go, and maybe Nashville will kind of find their way. But for the Sharks, right, they've lost 7 in a row. They're 1-8-1 in their last 10. Like things are, but they're a much more fun, competitive team. The offense has tanked, but we do have Macklin Celebrini doing Macklin Celebrini things every night, which is nice to see, and a big refresher from last year. At least there's fun stuff to watch, and it's not just miserable every night. So, but there's 4 kind of players, right? Porter Matrone, James Higgins, Matthew Schaefer, and Michael Misa are like kind of your 4. That is a tier of guys, and depending on who you ask and who, like, those 4 are going to probably interchange between Higgins, Porter Martone, Misa, like Schaefer, like those 4 guys are probably going to change 1 through 4 a bajillion times between now and the draft in June. Schaefer, who it is a big bummer. He did break his collarbone in the first game of the World Juniors, is expected to be out basically until the OHL playoffs start. So that stinks, but I would rather take like a broken bone, as weird as it sounds. I would always rather like take a broken bone than like ligament damage or something like that, because it's just like bones will heal. Those re-injuries worry me less than like someone tears up their knee, ligament damage on their knee or something like that, or like soft tissue injuries, stuff like that. Was just a freak play. I saw somebody calling him on Twitter. Somebody called him injury prone. Like, you're not injury prone if you break a bone like going into the net. That's just a freak play. Okay, like he's still, I think they're going to be the first defenseman off the board. I think he's a clear best defenseman in this draft. It's like if the Sharks get him, that'd be really fun. But looking at how some of the other guys are performing at World Juniors right now, Higgins is easily having the best. So Misa didn't get invited. Also, Canada's struggling to score here as well, as they're playing right now. I think it was last time I checked, it was 1-0. Okay, they ended up winning 3-0 because of they got a couple goals in the late third to kind of put that away. But it's weird that why does Canada keep Canadaing? But James Hagan, though, is I think easily having the best start, especially among like all these kind of top end players of in the draft. Hagen's so far leading Team USA. In 3 games, he got 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. I know some people are like, well, if you draft James Hagens, then why would you draft James Hagens if you have Will Smith? Just get good players. Like, you can have more than one good player last time I checked. I'm also very much in the just draft the best players because like your needs change all the time. When you think you might, like just always draft the best player available, especially when you're picking at the top. Because you never know which guys may not work out, so which guys will work out, and which guys might get traded. And again, it's good to have good players. So as many as you can get. That's kind of the best way I would try to go about it. So anyway, Hagens is having himself a really nice start to the tournament with 6 points in 3 games. And then it's been a little tough for some of the Victor Eklund, who's, like I said, is probably kind of number 5 right now. He's also having himself a really nice performance as well, with 4 points, 2 goals, and 2 assists in 3 games for Sweden. But Team Canada right now and Porter Martone like just hasn't been able to find the scoring touch, which is weird because Martone has been like dominating the OHL. So again, don't take too much from World Juniors, right? It's one tournament. It's something to keep in mind, but this tournament doesn't make or break a guy's draft stock, right? If he has a bad tournament, players have bad tournaments and they have like still get drafted well, and players have amazing tournaments and they turn out to not do well. Like, it is one tournament. It's super fun to watch. And I get it's easy to get kind of built, hyped up around the excitement, but don't make or break one player's because of one player's experience. Keep this in mind for like Sam Dickinson, right? Dickinson's had a little bit of a slow, 1 assist so far. Like, Dickinson's still having a monster season with London. Don't think that like Sam Dickinson is now a bad player or something like that because he hasn't been maybe lighting up the scoreboard and doing all the things that you'd expect. Different role, different team, different everything. So, don't like go crazy. Don't just because maybe guys don't have the tournaments that you hoped or expected for. So, that's gonna be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow. Back to our normal kind of schedule this week with a fun game. We have got a game, home game, New Year's Eve. We'll have an episode right after the game as always. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.